Testing. 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 Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Sending out links right now. Yeah, nobody's watching yet, or at least I know. Yeah. Well, I have 7 people following my channel, so last time I did this, David and Edward popped in. One person watching. No, me. Mute that one. Oh, 2 watching now. Who's out there? Yeah, go for it. I'm going to start by drawing a pink pony. Uh-oh, we're up to 4 people. Somebody else clicked in. Why not? Alright, Alexandra, are you there? Can you type in the chat? Or... Alright. Yeah, I see she is. Alright, so here's the deal. When you are painting... Let's look at these examples over here first. When you're painting... I'm going to have to mute myself so I don't get distracted. Not that one. All right. When you're painting rainy scenes, okay, first off, just go to reference. And when I think of reference for rainy scenes, I love going to Blade Runner because I just love their concept art. So we're going to look at one of those real fast. We'll pop that to the top, and we'll expand it. Okay, and let's hide everything else too. All right. The first thing you'll notice is what's really important with rainy scenes outside. You need to know where the light sources are coming from. So if you look at this example, you have these yellow lights. Let's find a better yellow. And they come straight down. And that's generally what ends up happening when you're looking at a scene. All the colors end up just coming straight down from wherever the light sources are. And then the only way to identify objects in the scene is the light gets blocked by something that's in front of the light. Okay, so we know that there's a car there, and then the car picks up other highlights. The other thing that's really interesting or really fun is everything is shiny, so that means everything has a specular highlight to it. Anything that's a sharp edge, it could be made of fabric, but because it's wet, it has a specular highlight, so it's a really condensed point of light, and it's really fun because you get to identify really sharp edges on the edges of forms. See these blue lights. Now again, look at this card. This is just so beautiful. There's this blue or green light all the way over here, and it's picked up on the edges of this car all the way over here, and it really makes that form identifiable. It's really nice. But the quick and cheap, easy way is to just look at whatever's lighter in your composition, and then just go straight down from that. So it's just like light there, a little bit of light there. Actually, it's this orange light that's hitting the top of the ceiling underside that building, coming down that way. And then shapes in the ground usually aren't that recognizable, but over here they do a good job because it's such an identifiable shape. And even here, because of the unevenness of the pavement and because the light's scattering so much, you get it still spreads out a little bit. But generally speaking, the reflections, you don't recognize shapes, you just see the shape stretch out over a long distance coming towards you. This orange light, if you're curious, is probably coming down from the side over here, so that's why it's not a reflection of anything over there. Let's pull back up our layer menu, and we'll look at something else. For our scene, though, we don't have that shallow angle. We're looking down from a higher angle, so we need to find a different reference for that. So I found this little beauty. We'll make this thing bigger, biggest. Okay, so it's gonna be a little bit pixelated because this was a really small sample I got. But again, notice the headlights of these cars, and how there's a line that comes straight down towards the viewer. And in the back, these red headlights, they come straight down. Now over here, we have yellow headlights that are shooting away, and that's because they're shooting away. We are not seeing the reflection of the headlight coming down, except we are right there, but it's around the front edge of the car. In this case, where the light is going away from us, we're just seeing what the light is illuminating. So it's just going that way and it's fading off. But these cars over here, or that's actually the tail lights too, we see the reflection, but it stretches out. And the reason why that, and if you think about it, the reason why that happens is the surface isn't really a perfect mirror, and so it just captures a lot of scattered light and then brings it to your eye. So that's what you want to look for. And then if you notice here, we have the white here shooting down, and this pillar is blocking the light, so we see it blocking the light, and then we see more light shining down, and then it's competing with the light from that car. So you have to look for where the lights are going to be in your reference. Now the thing about these two examples is these are night scenes, so we see lights all over the place, and these scenes like that are just fun, you know. you don't have a night scene, you have a day scene. So that changes things a little bit. But I wanted to start with the night scenes because the night scenes are a little bit more easier and a little bit more funner, and they illustrate some basic concepts. And then when you come to the day scene, you look for those concepts, but you also have to combine them with a few other things. I don't even know where I found this one, but I thought it was great. One of the things about um, cloudy days is the whole sky is a giant light box, and so light is coming from everywhere. Dan Gurney has an excellent column about this. I guess Jen's over in the corner trying to help me out. She's like, diffuse the light. All right, so what happens when you have this huge light box on top of everything is you don't get a shadow on the ground. Let's go back over here to this one. Yeah, or if you do, it's really subtle. So there's like no dark shadow like that underneath the puppy or anything. In fact, especially right there, there's so much light coming down from the sky, it's bouncing underneath the puppy, and you see the dark silhouette of his outline on the ground, as opposed to seeing his shadow on the ground. So one of the first things you're going to have to do is this shadow on the ground that's underneath the building, it's not there. It really is not there. If you want to do anything to indicate that there's some shadow emanating from the building, it needs to be a solid gradient. Pretty much. Let's see. Am I on my gradient tool? No, I'm not. Oh, I'm not even on the... Oh, we'll just do it with a brush then. That's not a brush. That is a brush. Ooh, I got the wet brush too. That's going to make it even easier. This gradient, it pretty much needs to be just a nice soft gradient that goes all the way across. Oops, too much. Just all the way out to the edge of... let's undo that. Let me put some effort into this, sorry. I'm gonna have to revert. Oh wait, I know what I can do. I'll just reload the... 1 second. Pull that one back in. Try it again. This time we'll do it right. So complicated use of masking. And we'll just pop that up, lock the transparency. This time I will use the gradient tool, it'll be faster. Alright, so we're starting with the base value on the outside, and then from the inside, let's go down to the opacity of 30, and we'll just build this up slowly. Oh. Change my eyedropper to all layers instead of just one layer. There we go. Now we have the layer we need. And it's pretty much just like that. And so, like this guy here, the ground, if it's wet, it's probably grabbing light from the sky, so it's going to be really light. Here, we're going to have to just add more sidewalk to this to do this the right way.